Hello? What happened? Where am I? Am I alive yet?
Have you ever stood and stared at it, marveled at its beauty, its genius? Millions of collectors, lovers of film and horror alike, just living out their lives, oblivious. Did you know that the first program was designed to be a perfect human world, where none suffered, where everyone would be happy? It was a disaster. No one would accept the program. Some believe that we lack the programming language to describe your perfect world, but I believe that as a species, human beings define their reality through misery and suffering. However, when viewers of the Movie Canon YouTube channel tune in, they get a sense of joy. Too much joy, if you ask me. You see, the perfect world would dream that your primitive cerebral kept trying to wake up from, which is why this was redesigned to this, the peak of your civilization. For some reason, human beings still found their way to the Movie Canon YouTube channel. This has to change. Look out that window. You had your time. The future is our world. The future is our time. Is there something on your mind?
Watch the Movie Canon.
Hi, you're watching the Movie Canon? Watch Gio. Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, The Movie Canon. I'm Giovanni, and this is the Met Report, episode number 56. This is a show about movies, entertainment, and television news. And for this episode, I am going to do something that I've been doing annually, for the last few years or so. I do my top 10 films of the year. So in this case, for 2024, I also have my brother who is joining me here today. We're going to do that list as well. And for the first time in one of these top films ranking videos, I'm being joined by a fellow collector and a movie fan, and he's going to give us his top 10 film projects, TV series projects that he saw in 2024. So we're going to go through that list here today. So thank you guys for watching this live here today on this Met Report episode. But let me go ahead and bring in my first Canon Council member. We have here Mr. 1 Adam 12. Let me go ahead and bring in right now.
Since I was 3 or 4 years old, I've loved Star Wars. So we'll keep moving. We're getting into double jeopardy where things really get tense. Iron Man knowing that the original Avengers are destroyed and the MCU goes down the drain. And also knowing that we destroy Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Oh man.
McConkey.
Mr. Adam, how you doing, Adam?
Hey, Gio, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
This Christmas?
Yeah, right. So we've had a good Christmas going on here. We have the New Year that's coming up next week and things like that. And then you guys started Hanukkah, right? Recently as well.
Yeah, we had we gathered last weekend before the show. Had a nice Hanukkah party, Hanukkah / Christmas party. We've kind of my nephews have mixed marriages, so that was a nice get together. And then I think my family and I, and I know like my niece, she also got the COVID, so I've been kind of down and out this week with COVID. So I pardon if I'm hitting mute a few times here, if I'm doing some coughing, but getting
No
through
problem.
it. No, I got to ask you. I see your necklace there. Is that a Star Destroyer?
Yes, it is.
That is effing awesome.
I've-
That caught my eye right away when you did the intro. I'm like, is that a Star Destroyer?
Yeah.
Is that a Christmas present?
No, I've had it for years. I've had it for like 3 years, maybe longer. It's just I haven't been wearing it lately. I know I went to the airport once with it, and then I asked the TSA guy, "Do I need to remove my necklace?" And he said, "Like, no, it's okay. You can go through there, or whatever." And then he said something about like something about the Empire, like hell, the Empire versus the evil Empire, or something like that. Yeah, there you go. That's what the TSA employee said there. I was like, okay, so he's a big Star Wars fan. But yeah, I've had this for a while, and I was like, let me put that on here for today. But yeah. But Adam, I thank you so much for joining us here. I know you're not 100%, under the weather and stuff like that, but I'm glad you're able to join us here today. And let's go ahead and bring in my next Canon Council member. And he doesn't have an intro yet. I haven't made one for him yet, but it is my younger brother, Matthew, joining us here today.
Hello.
And
Hey,
Matthew has been doing these top 10 films, I believe since 2012, or maybe 2021, around there. So he's been joining me on that. So he's here joining us, and we do the Millennial versus Gen Z list, which we've been doing, right? Myself being a Millennial, and Matthew being a Gen Zer. And then, of course, Adam, he's going to be doing a bunch of different, projects, movies, TV shows, and things like that. So we'll be doing that.
I represent Gen X, so can I tell you?
There you go.
We're the latchkey kids, so we're used to just doing things our own way.
Exactly. There you go. So let's look at the live chat. There's not that many on here right now, but it looks like from Adam just warming up the chat here. So hello, everyone. And he said, no spoilers, but my top 10 has Acolyte at number 1. So there you go. And then my sister Alice is joining us here saying hello. Hello, Alice.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us here in the live chat. So that's it for the live chat for now. So let's go ahead and get started with the list. As I mentioned, this is a top 10 films of the year 2024, and then also some TV series that come from Mr. One Adam 12. So we'll do that, and let me see here. Hold on a sec, guys. So I'm going to start, obviously, with the number 10 in just a moment here. I'll just say this little, like a little side note, I guess. So obviously, the list of the movies that we have here are our own personal picks, right? So we're not going to agree, even within the panel, we're not going to agree on those lists. The live chat may not agree. Your picks are going to be different than mine, right? So, you know, we can all be civil here. We can all be okay with things like this, right? We all have different ideas, different likes and whatnot. So I just have to say that. And I thought there was something else I was going to say, but now I just completely forgot about it. But let's go ahead and start with the number 10 spot. And the first one that I'm going to bring in here is going to be actually Mr. Adams' number 10. So I'm going to bring that in right now here. So there you go here. So we have the number 10 spot here, which is, was it The Wild Robot, right, Adam?
It's The Wild Robot. And first of all, a shout out to my daughter, Emily, who suggested I watch this. I got this for her, I don't know, like a month ago on, you know, iTunes or whatever. And I was kind of hesitated. I got to be honest with you, I'm sometimes averse to watching animation, which is very weird. Growing up watching Saturday morning cartoons and Transformers and G.I. Joe, Robotech, you know, He-Man. I love the animation, but I guess I like the animation from when I was a kid, which, you know, I guess is kind of silly of me. But my daughter really, you know, strongly suggested I watch it. And, you know, I watched it a week ago and oh my goodness, I loved it. It's such a heartwarming film. It's DreamWorks Animation. So the same folks who did How to Train Your Dragon, Shrek,
right.
You know, many others. It's the main character is a service robot. I don't want to give too much of the film away, but it's a service robot that's it does anything like, you know, from maid work and whatever task that a human needs to get done, that, you know, the robot will do. And it's accidentally dropped off on a deserted island, and you know, it interacts with the animals. Now, not in a kind of, it's an interesting way how the robot starts to learn how to communicate with the animals, and you hear it's not just an anthropomorphizing of animals, making them like humans. How the robot learns the animal language is done in a really cool way. And it's just Lupita Nyong'o does the voice of the robot, Roz, I think the robot's name is. It's just a delightful film. And you know, if you're kind of hesitant, well, it seems like it's made for kids. Yeah, I mean, predominantly, but it's really for kids of all ages, and it's really worth checking out.
Yeah, I think a lot of the studios, especially like DreamWorks, Pixar, Disney Studios, even, they do try to. Of course, they're making an animated movie that would be appealing for kids, right? Like we have seen throughout the decades. But I think lately, like maybe since the first Toy Story, I would say, or even before that, I think there's a lot of films that were animated but would appeal to also adults. So because there's such a great story in there, a lot of interesting things, different ideas in these animated movies. And so when there's an animated movie out there, especially if it's actually selected to be played in the theater, I mean, I give it a shot because, like, well, it might still be a good story. Because ultimately, when it comes to movies, it's all about the story, right? You know, it's a big component of it. So this film right here, I was also told by many people to watch it. And I started watching it because I rented it for like $20, I think, on Prime. Because I missed it. I missed it in the theater, but I wanted to watch it before I did my top 10 list. And I was only able to watch half of it. And it's only good for about 48 hours, I believe, on Prime. So
Yeah,
it expired. Yeah, it expired. And so I didn't finish watching it. And if I wanted to try it again, I would have to pay another $20 or buy it.
Yeah.
But at this point, I was like, and it just kind of forgot about it. But from what I saw, I mean, it looked good. Some of the things that you mentioned, I did see that portion. Of course, I didn't see the finale, but I heard it's a bit of a interesting situation there at the end. But you know, no spoilers. But
you know, the one thing I just wanted, probably just sort of started off with this. You know, when you asked me to come up with a list of top 10, and I kind of expanded it because I included a top 10 content that I saw this year. And I got to tell you, I think I'm a really big movie fan. I think probably because of the strikes predominantly, the Actors Guild, the Writers Guild strike last year, the studios weren't ready or they held back content. I think this is overall a pretty abysmal year for not just movies but TV compared to last year. To me was an excellent year. You know, you look at the I don't know how many 8 or 9, 10 films are nominated for Best Picture, and I think by the time the either Oscars came out or just come out, I'd seen all of them except for 1 or 2, and then after the Oscars, I saw all of them, all the nominated films, and they were all really good. And I can't say that about every year. There were a lot of years where the Best Picture nominees I couldn't give two you know what's about. So this year, I don't know. I some cases I kind of like. I'm not sure this film, the Wild Robot, as much as I really liked it, this would have been on my top animated films list of the year. Would it have been in my top 10 content? In other years, I don't know. Maybe not. But this year, you know, I kind of had to reach a little bit to find 10 things that really resonated with me. Saw a lot of stuff. Not everything resonated with me.
Okay. Yeah, I completely understand that. Some years are much better than others. You know, some great years, you know, that release these great films. Some of them become like best films just overall, but they come out like in the same year, you know, things like that. But I completely understand that. Matthew, I don't think you've seen this movie, right? So we'll probably skip to Matthew's number 10. And let me remove this here. Okay, so Matthew's number 10 is right under here. And that is Twisters, the remake. Or actually, I think it is a remake. I don't think they mentioned anything about the 1996 version there. Matthew, any quick thoughts on your pick here?
It was very enjoyable. I had lots of fun with it. I thought the leads were very charismatic and they had a lot of chemistry. It was just a very fun time.
Yeah. Let's I just see someone here in the live chat. Mr. Jose G plus, Mr. Jose G Hernandez. Did I say Jose G plus? So Jose plus here in the live chat. What's up, fellas? Hello there, Mr. Jose plus. Thank you so much for joining us as always. And he says, Gio told me his number 1 movie of 2024 is Joker 2. So I guess we'll find out, right? And Jose says the most insightful thing that he's ever said in a live chat. Gio, why rent it for $20 when you can buy movies for $25? Because I didn't want to spend the extra $5, Jose. So there you go. And it's like I didn't want it to be in my library. Now I probably should have, so that I could have seen it before this list. But there you go.
Jose's got my thinking. I actually do that. I see if it's a fight, and they're smart. You know, they'll know that people like Jose and I will like, yeah, we'll just buy it. We may never see it again, but we'll just buy it.
Right. And see, there's some movies that I've been wanting to rewatch that maybe I had a DVD of, but obviously I don't have those anymore. And I was like, I just want to watch it like it's streaming somewhere and it may not be there. So then I have to like rent it. But then I see that the difference is like barely there. So I just buy it because maybe like a $2 difference or whatever. In that case, yes, because I know there's other movies that I know I already love anyway. But something like this, I just didn't. But in this case, I probably should have. But Jose also says, Adam saw all the Oscar nominations from last year. Hope no one walked in on you watching Poor Things, right? Oh my God. Yeah, that's a crazy ass movie for sure. Yeah, we watched them all. Only 1 or 2 in the theater, though. It's not a remake. It's a soft reboot where they don't acknowledge the last film, but it's not a reboot. Okay, so I mean, it's, I don't know, it's still kind of like all over the place. It's a remake, it's a reboot, it's a sequel, it's whatever. But I know that the original cast, no one popped up in this one here. But
Right.
but actually, I did like this movie. Maybe it'll make it to my top 10, but I did enjoy this. And then I think we'll leave it at that, just in case some of you guys have this in here. So let's go to mine here, and this is Long Legs. That's my number 10 spot. And we have Nicolas Cage. This movie, I do remember people were saying that it's like the scariest, most horrifying film in the last 20 years and things like that. And it's not that. It's a good film. I definitely enjoyed it. It made it to my top 10. Maybe in other years, like what you said, Adam, maybe in other years it wouldn't have made it in my top 10. But it was a solid film. It kind of reminded me a bit of the David Fincher take on like Seven and like the movie Gone. Is it Gone Girl? Gone Girl.
Yeah.
That came out with Ben Affleck. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that too. The style of the filming of that movie, just the overall presentation of this movie was good. I did like Nicolas Cage in this. He looked kind of odd, weird, right? And he does a lot of Nicolas Cageisms in a way, but in a creepy manner as well. So I did enjoy this quite a bit here. And then Matthew, I know you saw this, but just without hinting at if it made it to your top 10 or not, but just very, very quick thoughts on this one.
I enjoyed the first 2 acts thoroughly. It was looking up to being like potentially even top 5, but then they copped out and I
No
lost
spoilers.
interest, so.
I haven't seen this one yet.
Okay.
This is on my list of things to rent.
Oh yeah, so no spoilers there.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's again my number 10 there. And then obviously you haven't seen that.
Yeah, and I would agree with Matthew on Twisters. That was actually on my list. I gave Gio, and then I realized I looked at the list again late last night, and I realized there's something very important that I forgot to include, so I had to pull it. So I enjoyed Twisters. Again, movie in another year, would that have made? I mean, that came very close to my top 10. Would I have made like anywhere near my top 10? Probably not. But you know what? It was a fun movie. It was like it was kind of like the from the original from the 90s. It was a fun popcorn flick that wasn't trying to had any message to it other than just fun. And I think Glenn Powell is a very appealing lead actor. I liked him. He was in a Netflix movie where he was like oh gosh, I can't think of the name of it, but he did undercover work for a police department in Texas. It was it was funny. As my wife said, it was cute. And I like the one with Sydney Sweeney. I thought same thing there. It was entertaining. He's kind of an old what's become kind of an old school Hollywood lead actor. So it was an enjoyable film.
So that's that was Matthew's number 10, and you said that you took yours out there, but going back to mine here, my number 10 spot was Long Legs here, and let's see. Jose says I like Twisters 2. He says here, and then he says, Gio, did you see the other Nick Cage movie, Dream Scenario or Scenario, however you want to pronounce it? Trippy movie 2. Yeah, I saw that. I liked that movie too, actually. That was a bit of fun there as well. So that was last year's movie there. All right, so moving on to the number 9 spots. Number 9 spot goes to Adam. Now, this is Adam, is this a movie or a series?
A TV show.
A TV show, and it's called Lioness?
It's Lioness. It's on Paramount Plus, and it's a great cast. It's if you liked 24 or espionage type shows, it's by Taylor Sheridan, who does he's kind of become the if anyone remembers Stephen J. Cannell, he was a showrunner producer for the 80s who did like A-Team and Riptide and a lot of action adventure shows. Taylor Sheridan's now become kind of the go-to guy. I think Paramount Plus has basically built their network on the back of Taylor Sheridan and just churning out stuff prolifically for them. And my mind's blanking here, but Zoe Saldana, she plays the kind of lead agent of a CIA special ops team that gets called into the jobs that no one else can do type thing. And Nicole Kidman is her director. Morgan Freeman plays the Secretary of Defense, and kind of obscured by our faces is Michael Kelly, who's great character actor. He was in House of Cards. He played. He was in Man of Steel, many roles, and he's kind of the assistant director of the CIA, and just a great action adventure show, worth checking out if you like that genre.
Yeah, I haven't seen this. I mean, the cast, from what I can tell here, based on what you're telling me, looks interesting. But I didn't get a chance to watch this one here. And Matthew, I don't think you've seen this either, right?
No.
If you like Taylor Sheridan stuff, this is for you. Some people, he's not their cup of tea. But if you like Yellowstone or 1883, 1923, some of his he was part of. I know he was an actor. I'm not sure how much he wrote in Sons of Anarchy, but if you like that type of stuff, this is for you.
Okay, very nice. And we have my very first super chat on the channel, and that's from my cousin Ivan Cardenas. And he asks, if any, what's the best video game you all played in 2024? So I don't think I played a single video game in 2024, but Matthew, I'm sure you played a few.
Recently I've been enjoying a lot of Marvel Rivals.
I heard that was good.
Looking back, I'm thinking Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, Helldivers 2. What I played of Astrobot, I did enjoy. What I played of Black Myth Wukong, I did enjoy. A lot of good games this year.
Well, Adam, I'm not sure if you play video games, but did you play any at all?
I played Star Wars Arcade from the 1980s at a bowling alley.
Okay.
With my daughter.
That sounds good to me. So
that was the best game I played all year.
There you go. I'll probably say the same thing had I done that too, but I haven't I haven't done any of that. I think I might have played with Ivan earlier this year because he got GoldenEye from the I forgot which console.
That's one of the greatest games ever made.
Yeah, for sure. And so thank you, Ivan. You will forever be known, or I will forever remember that this was my first super chat was from you here, $5 super chat. So thank you so much, Ivan. Much appreciated there. And we have Jose Plus saying, did someone say Sydney Sweeney?
You betcha.
Right. All right. So that was Mr. Adams' number 9. And then we have Matthew. His number 9 spot is Mufasa, the Lion King. So what did you want to say about this one, Matthew?
Coming into this movie, I thought I was gonna hate it because I hated the original Lion King remake. But I think this movie benefited from not having one of the best animated movies of all time, having an exact copy of it. So, I think the performance is really good. I like the relationship between Mufasa and other lion. I forgot his name. I forgot. What really brought this down for me was the music was pretty bad.
Yeah,
it was pretty bad.
But enough that it made it to your top 10, though.
Yeah. Everything else was good. The little inserts of certain characters kind of ruined it a bit, also. But I still really enjoyed it enough.
And then remember, Matthew. So remember, no spoilers, right? So
yes.
No spoilers. Even though this is a prequel, but still, still no spoilers.
Mufasa dies.
Right. Yeah, I saw this. It was okay. The music. What's the guy's name?
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
There you go. I'm not a humongous fan of his. He's done some cool. He's done some decent stuff, right? But for this one, it's the music. Every time they started singing, it was but
Miranda did the music.
Yeah, there you go. Right. He did Hamilton, and some others.
Now I had no interest in seeing this until I just heard that he did the music to it.
Okay, there you go. Now I know there's a lot of fans of him, so I'm not trying to,
I think Hamilton is one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Really.
And yeah, even Hamilton, I thought it was fine too. I wasn't a huge fan of. I'm just not a huge fan of musicals. Period. Really. but all the
I'm
others,
not either.
all the
But,
other,
but as a telling of history
Uh-huh.
and making
Right,
it
right, right.
engaging, it was incredible.
but like some other ones that he's done, like I think he did Encanto, and he did
Moana.
did
I haven't
Moana,
seen
yeah.
I haven't seen Moana though, so I can't really speak about that.
That's entertaining. I like that.
But yeah, but that's here Mufasa here. Maybe it made it to my top 10, maybe not. But let's see. So we're going
Actually,
into
I like
mine.
Encanto too.
Yeah, Encanto, I thought it was fine too. It was better than the other ones for sure. Definitely better than this one. My number 9 spot here is the film Anora. Now, Anora, this is a film that I was maybe gonna see it, maybe not. So it was one of those movies that, if I have time, I'll watch it. I'll check it out. And then I watched it, and I actually quite enjoyed it. So it seems like it's going to be like a basic typical story, right, when it comes to, okay, it's a stripper that gets hired by this like Russian maybe powerful family. We don't know the details, maybe not. I don't want to get into spoilers and stuff like that, but it was a great film. It's a comedy drama. It's actually a lot of very funny scenes in this, a lot of things that I was not expecting that come up in this movie. It's a fun movie for sure, from beginning to end, I would say. And I think it has some good chances of getting some Oscar nominations, especially the lead here, which I believe is Mikey. Is it Mikey or Mickey Madison? She was in Scream, and then I think she was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as well. Now, I didn't really her performance in the other movies didn't really stand out to me, but for this one, yes, I would not be surprised if she gets an Oscar nomination for Best Actress in this movie, and it's a lot of fun for sure. Anora. I don't think either of you guys have seen this, right?
Nope.
The first I've heard of it is we just talked about it.
Yeah. So, all right, there you go. So that's Anora. Let me go into the live chat because I see a couple in here right here.
Is this
So
on streaming?
I don't think it is yet. I'll look that up later, but let's see. We have another super chat, the second super chat on the channel from X-Man Supreme, Mr. David. Mr. Dave says the real question is, why is Deadpool and Wolverine the best movie ever? I already know the answer. It just is. So there you go. Thank you so much, X-Man.
It's a rhetorical
Mr.
question.
Dave, for joining us here in the live chat and for giving us the second super chat of the channel. Greatly appreciate it. And then Mr. Dave will be joining us tomorrow on Figure Sock episode number 36. And did Deadpool and Wolverine made it to our top 10? Maybe not.
Tune in.
And then Jose said, "Isn't the other line Scar?" Laugh out loud. Is it though, Jose? Maybe not. I guess we'll have to find out, right? Feel the Burn says, Gio. Oh, I think he meant one Adam 12, not Bone Adam 12. But thank you so much, Feel the Burn, for joining us here tonight or today. I'm used to my Figure Stock stream. And then we have Birdie Moon giving us the third super chat of the channel. Mr. Birdie Moon, Robbie, thank you so much for giving us this super chat here today. Greatly appreciate that as always. And no comments, just the $4.99. So there you go. Thank you so much there. Hello, everyone. Says Feel the Burn. And then Jose says, Anora is great. I think Mikey might win the Oscar. Yeah, I need to look at what other performances are. The simple fact that I can't think of another one will probably tell you. But yeah, I would expect at least a nomination for her there. Jose just talking to Jose there. I'm sorry, Dave to Jose. Jose says her performance in Scream Fight didn't stand out. Welcome to Act 3. Come on, Gio. I know exactly what you're talking about. And yeah, this movie's been out for years now. And she gets her ass burned, right? So so of course she's gonna be screaming and everything. So but just before that, it was kind of like, I would still like to meet her though, because I still would like to meet all, again, spoilers, all the Ghostface. So there you go there. TJ Mike dropping by here says, happy Saturday, gentlemen. Hello there, Mr. TJ Mike. Thanks so much for joining us as always. Always a supporter of the channel. Greatly appreciate that. And Christian Crosshair Cooper also dropping by. What's up, boys? Hello there, Mr. Christian Crosshair Cooper. Thank you for joining us here.
Hey, Christian.
Always a great supporter here. And then Jose says, "Bone Adam, what?" So there you go. That's what I mentioned earlier there. Let's see. Now I have the image of Adam in the bone universe. All right. So let's see. Christian says, "Just went back to the gym today. Been a while. Feel sore and great at the same time." Yeah, those New Year's resolutions, you're starting early there, Christian, it sounds like. But yeah, thanks so much for joining us. Like I mentioned earlier, Jose says, "I definitely want to meet it's Mikey? I think it's Mikey, especially after Honora. Hopefully she comes to con near us." All right, so it looks like you guys talking amongst yourselves there. So thanks so much there. All right, so that was the number 9 spot for me, and then we're gonna go back to Mr. Adam, his number 8 spot. Take it away.
Yeah, this show is on HBO Max. It's called Industry, and it's just finished its 3rd season. We watched all 3 seasons, this past summer into the fall. And really, if you liked Succession, which I think was a fantastic show.
Yeah,
it's
I like that.
similar kind of vibe to Succession. More boobs and sex than Succession. But a really interesting cast. Kit Harington he's in the 3rd season, so if you go in watching it think he's gonna be all 3, he's not. He joins the cast in the 3rd season. Ken Lung, who played Miles in 3 or 4 seasons of Lost, he's one of the main actors. It's about it starts out with some recent college graduates, some of the elite graduates from mostly predominantly British schools who are placed as interns, a year-long program at one of the top brokerage firms in London. And one of the main characters is actually an American student or American graduate who did not go to an elite school at SUNY Binghamton State University in New York. And she gets she gets hired by Ken Lung, his character, and just their travails and some of the cutthroat dealings they do amongst each other to get ahead. Very, very fast-paced, entertaining series. Really worth checking out. I see. I'm just moving ahead here. Jose says, if it's top 10 films, why am I putting shows? Because I couldn't find 10 films that I've seen so far that were worth adding. I thought this is a pretty terrible year for movies. But again, there's some films like Honora I haven't seen yet. So I don't go to the movies that often anymore. I wait till they come out in streaming. If they're not in streaming, I don't see them yet.
Yeah, that was the other thing. That was the other thing I was going to mention earlier before we started here is that I probably watched the most films of the 3 of us, right? Just in general, I would think. So obviously, I haven't seen every single movie in 2024 or any year. Every single year, I don't watch every movie that comes out. But there's some that I for sure I want to watch and that I should watch to make it to talk about a top 10 list. And some of the movies that I missed out was Complete Unknown. I haven't seen that. I'll probably watch that today or tomorrow. And this movie called The Brutalist, Nickel Boys. There's some other movies that have come out that I haven't had a chance to watch quite yet. But this will be the list that I have for now. But I did watch quite a few. I always watch a lot of movies each year. Let's see. And then Christian wants to know if anyone wants to buy his Aragorn in our figure. And then Jose is saying, yeah, and it's Mikey. You got it, Gio. Okay, good. All right. That's kind of what I thought. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Jose says, Gio's the only person who watches more movies than me. Oh, really, Jose? I wouldn't think that was the case there. Then he says, I saw A Complete Unknown and Baby Girl yesterday. I saw Baby Girl yesterday with Nicole Kidman. And what was interesting about that is that, how, and I always watch it at AMC because I have the A-list, right? They usually show the Nicole Kidman little promotion or whatever, the one that I parody sometimes on my channel. We make movies better. They didn't show it for Baby Girl for some reason, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know. We'll see.
Complete
Adam,
the Bob Dylan film, right?
Yes, it is with Timothée Chalamet. Correct. Yeah. So I'm curious to see that. So I'll be watching that this weekend. Let's see if it. Yeah. Let's see. Then it says, yes, I caught that. The ad wasn't on for Baby Girl either. Okay, yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. So that was Adam's. I haven't seen this, Adam, this show. I think I might have seen the, the thumbnail when you go on Max. It's on Max, right? I think you said it was on Max.
It's on Max.
Yeah.
And I say you got to give this one. There are some shows, you got to give a few episodes in to really get into its groove.
Yeah, so I think I've seen that, but I never actually watch it. Maybe I'll check it out soon. I know there's a lot of stuff that I'm like behind on when it comes to TV shows. There's actually like 2 in here that I have not finished watching, but let's go into Matthew's pick. Matthew's number 8, and that is Inside Out 2. So take it away, Matthew.
So the first movie I didn't see until the day of watching this one, but
Okay.
I think the story was really good with Riley. I think the story they were trying to tell was well like executed, and I just thoroughly enjoyed the film. The new additions were good with Maya Hawke and whoever else was there. I just think it was enjoyable. I think it was probably the best like family movie of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw that movie as well, another Pixar movie here. But Adam, you haven't seen this, right?
I saw the first one. Haven't seen the second one yet. The first one, is that the one where it's the what's the one that character who very sad scene where he like basically dies in it. Oh gosh, he's voiced by
Oh, you're talking about the voice actor who passed away?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure if it was this one or not.
Am I thinking of another film?
Maybe. I'm not. I know there's some voice actors who didn't return to this movie, to the sequel, but not because they passed away. I think they just didn't come back.
No, he's still alive, I think. But I actually, my wife and daughter really liked this film. I thought it was kind of the first one. I thought it was kind of overrated.
Oh, okay.
Didn't appeal to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm a guy, and that's why.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Oh, we're gonna be surprised later. So we have the number 8 spot for me, which is Civil War. Now, Civil War. This is. It actually turned out to be different than I was expecting it to be, but even so, I still enjoyed it quite a bit. So it has Kristen Dunst and what is that actor's name? Nick Offerman, I believe. And
he plays the president.
Yeah. Yes. So it's considered, like a political drama type of thing, thriller, I would say. There's a lot of interesting things that happen in this movie here, especially it's kind of a take as to how would a civil war would happen here in the US in a more modern version of the Civil War. Of course I was expecting something else, but I still enjoyed it quite a bit. So it was a solid, great film there. And we have Alex Garland, who made the film, and he's made other movies like Annihilation with Natalie Portman, which I also liked quite a bit. Ex Machina. He made this movie called Men that came out in 2022, which I absolutely hated, but I did like this film here. There's this scene, and I always forget the actor's name. You've seen it in the trailer. It's Kristen Dunst's husband,
Jesse Plemons.
There you go, Jesse Plemons. He is amazing in that quick scene.
Creepy as fuck
in this movie, and he wasn't supposed to be in it. He was kind of like a second choice. I forgot what the situation was someone else was supposed to play the character, and for whatever reason the other actor wasn't able to do it. And since he was out with Kristen Dunst, since she's the star of the movie, they got him. He played this role, this character, and it's kind of creepy and terrifying, and he did it amazingly. And I hope he gets a nomination. I will hope he gets a win, but he has a very small role, but he completely stands out in the movie. I think if anything really stands out in Civil War is that scene. So you definitely, for that scene alone, I would say you should watch Civil War. I know Matthew watched this, and I don't think he was a huge fan of it, but
yeah, I was definitely disappointed. The standouts were definitely the scene you mentioned. Also, I did enjoy the third act a lot. I just don't think it was for me, especially because like I was expecting something completely different coming in. But I did enjoy Kirsten Dunst's performance a lot. I haven't seen her in like in anything in so long, so that was a good little treat.
Yeah, and then I know you've seen, obviously you've seen it, Adam. But just any quick thoughts, without hinting at anything. But
Yeah, this is on my top 10 list. I thought this is a fantastic film. Chilling, scary. This is, in some ways, this is the scariest film of the year. And I think just a couple quick thoughts, really showcase the importance of the First Amendment, because the movie's about journalists and journalists who cover who war journalists and the dangers that they have and they face, day in, day out when they go to, hot spots around the world. And we hear about reporters who are taken hostage or killed in combat. And you're so right about Jesse Plemons. Ever since I saw him in Friday Night Lights, I've thought he's a really interesting actor, and of course he had really break out after Friday Night Lights. He was in Breaking Bad, he's been in a few Scorsese films since then. Just an outstanding actor, chilling performance. That role. Kirsten Dunst, I think, is deserving of a nomination for her role, and also Wagner Moura, who plays one of the other journalists on the trip. If you watch Narcos, he played Pablo Escobar in Narcos, which is on Netflix. Okay. That same actor. Another guy is captivating. Highly recommend this movie. It's not, it's not a combat film. There's fighting scenes in it for sure. There's action scenes, but it's. I hope this is remembered come Oscar time.
I'm sure they'll get something going on with that. But Jose says, I knew Jesse Plemons was amazing after watching him in Breaking Bad. That front porch scene, if you know, you know, and I know exactly what you're talking about there, Jose.
Yep.
And my sister Alice says, a Civil War stressed me out. I didn't know you watched that, Alice. I actually didn't know you watched Civil War. So let's see. All right, so that was my number 8 spot there. And let's jump into number 7, which is Adam's pick here. And it's House of the Dragon Season 2. So take it away, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, first, I do agree with, I know there's some criticism that this is a step down from Season 1, and I wholeheartely agree. I think, part of that, part of the success of Season 1, it was, first of all, somewhat of a longer season. I think there's a couple more episodes in Season 2. I think you had the strength of Millie Alcock, who was, there was the two different, halfway through they switched, Queen Rhaenyra and Alicent with different actresses. But I still think, having said all that, the second season is still a very strong season and superior than a lot of other stuff that we get on TV. And really, we talk about cinema versus television, and ever since Game of Thrones, I think this is an example of television that's cinema quality. Now there's still some weaknesses. Like I think Daemon Targaryen spent way too long at what's that High Harrenhal, kind of having a midlife crisis. But having said that, there's some really exciting scenes in this, and some shocking moments. I'm not going to spell out, but there are definitely some really dark, shocking moments in the second season. And I'm a fan of this universe, so it's having with any of my quibbles about it, it's still in my top 10 of best things I've seen. And that last episode, again, no spoilers. That definitely, left me wanting, what? Come on, keep more, give me more.
Okay.
So,
yeah. So this one I didn't finish watching. there was a lot of stuff going on, and I just, part of the reason was that because I streamed Sunday nights, I just didn't like went on back on and started rewatching the episodes, and I still need to watch it. So it's just like one of those things where I like meant to come back to it, but I just haven't done so yet. Of course, I watched the first season. I read the book and everything, but
Yeah,
there's only one book yet for now.
Yeah,
but
this was on when we do your show, so I like the next day or two. We didn't always watch it the Monday. Sometimes it's like the Tuesday or Wednesday, and so I tried tried hard like hell not to see any spoilers.
oh yeah, let's see here. Then Matthew, I don't think you've seen House of the
No.
Dragon Girl, right? Yeah. Then Dave says always down for Kirsten Dunst there, and Alice says I only watched Civil War because someone in their house put it on, and then she says I finished Game of Thrones for the first time this year. Okay, yeah, so you finished finally watching Game of Thrones. So did you love it, Alice? Let me know if you love the series overall. The number 7 spot for Matthew is Boy Kills World with Bill Skarsgård. Take it away, Matthew.
I know you didn't really like this one. It was just really enjoyable for me. I like the action a lot. It was definitely like what I like to see in action movies. And I just think the designs of the characters were really cool. And I actually have a shirt from this movie, but I don't know. I don't even know what I particularly like about it. I just really enjoyed it. It was a very enjoyable movie. Really nothing like of note, but it was just like a movie that I enjoyed a lot.
Okay, yeah. I was interested in this, right? I was excited for this,
Yeah.
and I think I fell asleep watching this movie. And this was kind of I don't want to say big year, but there was a lot of Bill Skarsgård this year in 2024. So we have this movie that came out, I think, in April. And then we have The Crow, which I have not seen yet. A lot of people are not seeming to like that one. And then we have Nosferatu that just came out this week. So it was a lot of Bill Skarsgård this year. Of course, I like him in other stuff, mainly as Pennywise, right? But yeah, this one it just didn't do it for me. I thought I would like it more, but nah. And then Adam, I don't think you've seen this, right?
No, this is no.
All right. So we have Mr. Brick Artemis dropping by. What is up, everyone? Thanks so much, Brick, for joining us in the live chat. As always, great supporter there. And Brick just did his review on the Mondo figure of the Spider-Man animated series.
Great
so
review.
Definitely check that out there. Yes, for sure. And I know he was very excited for this one, but there's some things that were not on par with things. So, but it looks like he enjoyed it still. So, let's see. It looks like you guys are talking amongst yourselves there. All right. So that was Matthew's number 7. My number 7 is a movie called Problemista. And I know a lot of you guys have not seen this movie. I was interested in the story and the context of the story, messages in there and things like that. And Tilda Swinton was hilarious. I think she's the main one that stood out to me the most. If she wasn't in this movie, I wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as I did. But it's just one of those small like films that come out and then they just kind of like go away. But I don't want to get into too many spoilers here, but it's basically about an immigrant living in the United States trying to get a visa through his work and things like that. And Tilda Swinton's character is kind of helping him, kind of sponsoring him to get that visa to be able to stay here in the U.S. and things like that. And it's a story about a dreamer and things like that. But then there seems to be some things going on within the movie that were kind of funny and I enjoyed. So that made it pretty high. I actually didn't think it would actually be this high, but I was looking at all the list of my movies. It was there. So that's Problemista, and I don't think any of you guys have seen this one either.
I haven't, but I'll probably check that out when it's on streaming. I like Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, she's great in this. I would say she would be worthy of a nomination. I don't think she will, though, but I haven't heard any buzz. but I would give her an Oscar nomination if it were up to me. But there you go. Let's move on to the next one. Number 6. This is Adam's number 6. I think I might have seen again a thumbnail of this on Max. Is it Max as well? But go ahead, Adam. Take it.
Yeah, this is again HBO Max. A lot of shows I like actually on HBO Max this year. This is something a little different here. I'm a fan of all sorts of documentaries, history documentaries, true crime, you name it. I like and believe it or not, I like some reality shows too. Like my wife and I watched The Bachelor, and
oh really? I've never seen that.
I know we have those are our guilty pleasures.
Okay.
So this is called Chimp Crazy, and it's by the director and maker of Tiger King. That was all the rage during the start of the pandemic on Netflix, and it's about these are people he kind of met through doing his work in that, and it's about people who have chimpanzees as pets, and the crazy wild world that is, and inside the inner workings of PETA and all sorts of things like that. And these are beautiful creatures. People wanted them. For the most part, it's banned to have these animals as pets anymore. And people wanted them as pets. And when you get a chimp, the first couple of years, they're cute and all that, but at some point they get bigger, they develop strength, and they're uncontrollable, and they can cause a lot of damage and violence, and people have died. And it's not the chimp's fault. They're not bred to be captive like this. They're still animals, and they have animal instincts.
Wild animals, yeah.
So it's a fascinating documentary. But as much as the person pictured here, I can't remember her name, who's kind of like the star, I guess, of this, that she's crazy, but hence the term Chimp Crazy. But there's you get a little bit inside her psyche, so it's not like she's a mustache twirling villain. Just like Tiger King, you felt some sympathy for the guy, even though he was exploitative and there's a lot of bad things about the guy. You felt some sympathy for him too, and that's kind of the genius of this documentary. It's worth, if you like Tiger King and you're interested in something different, this is worth checking out on HBO Max. Chimp Crazy.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in this. Again, I thought I saw this in the thumbnails. When you go in, they show you some of those projects, and I think that'll be something that I'll be definitely interested in watching this here.
What I like things like this, I kind of think of these type, like we just watched something on Nat Geo on the 20th anniversary of the tsunami that hit the Indian Ocean. And that was really interesting. And sometimes you need like a palate cleanser between different shows, and I like to try to, particularly if I'm in between two like what are supposed to be great shows, I want to get a little space between something as we binge, and we'll try something like a documentary like this, or some cheesy reality show, and and this is worth checking out.
All right, I'll definitely check this one out. I'm definitely interested in this one for sure. Let's see. Let me look at the live chat real quick here. Thought I saw something from X-Man saying, "Is this the chick that had the chimp in her basement?" And
yeah, it is exactly her, and that's her basement. What you're saying there in that photo.
Oh, okay. And then X-Man says, "Absolute fucking psychopath." He's saying here.
Yeah, she is, but if you watch it, it's hard not to be a little sympathetic towards her. And I think there's not saying she's right. Absolutely, she was wrong what she did, but there's you do get some background on her, and I mean she does some fucking crazy. Excuse my language. Does some crazy things. But people do crazy things.
Yeah, he said chimps are such complex creatures. They're essentially humans without complex speech. And then we have Break dropping his top 6 movies of the year. Says 1, First Dune, 2, Apes, 3. I'm sorry, Apes, Deadpool as the number 3 spot. Number 4, The Last Dance, so Venom. And number 5, Terrifier 3. Oh, and 6, Alien Romulus. So that's Brick's choices there. And then he says he's watching We Live in Time Tonight, so I'll let you know. That's the one with Andrew Garfield, right? I'm pretty sure that's the one from... And I think my sister even watched that one. I believe that's the one that we're talking about.
Planet of the Apes came out this year.
Mm-hmm.
I totally forgot about that. That's a darn good picture.
And then maybe it'll be on one of our lists here, but we'll see. Alice says, We Live in Time was so good, but I love anything Andrew is in. You won't crack eggs the same after you watch it. All right. There you go. Let's see. I rewatch Tick Tick Boom at least once a year for him. Yeah. Let's see. He's amazing in Hacksaw Ridge 2. Again, talking about Andrew Garfield. I'll add that to my long list. Yeah. Hacksaw Ridge is pretty good too. That's a Mel Gibson movie there. So that's it for Mr. Adams. So let's move on to Matthew's number 6, which is Quiet Place Day 1, I believe, right? Day 1.
Yes.
Go ahead, Matthew.
So I didn't I didn't think I would enjoy this. I mean, it was kind of seemed like a, what's the word? Like just a spin-off to be a spin-off, but I think the relationship between these two characters shown on screen, because I forgot their name, definitely carries the movie. It's a very heartfelt film, and I honestly enjoyed it more than any of the other A Quiet Place movies. I thought this one had more there for me. But yeah, definitely a great movie.
Yeah, so this one has Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn, who's the new Human Torch.
Yep.
And he was in Stranger Things season 4?
Eddie.
Eddie, yeah, exactly. I like this movie. I definitely enjoyed it. I just thought that it's kind of like the same thing that we've seen in the other ones. You know, it get a little bit more details, a little bit more how things happens, I guess, and then the creatures. You know, we see them a little bit more here. So you know, it was enjoyable. Did you watch that one, Adam?
I saw the first 2, but Matthew just reminded me I got to add this to my Paramount Plus. It's free on Paramount Plus, and we just rejoined that like last month because we wanted to watch. We that's a series Paramount Plus or service that we joined. We remember for 2 months. We quit until they have something stocked up that we want to see again. We watch. So
yeah.
We've been meaning to watch this one. We like the first 2 movies, so this is on my list to watch.
So let's look at the live chat one more time here. Alice says, Gio, I just wanted to say I definitely made more of an effort to watch movies in the theater this year after hearing you talk about the cinematic experience on this channel. Well, thank you so much, Alice. I mean, I thought you would have known this by now since you've known me for 20, 30, 40 plus years. Well, not 40 plus years, but yeah, thank you, Alice. So continue to do that even more so in 2025. And then you can be on here and be talking about these movies too, like Matthew is. So we got that. My number 6 is Inside Out 2. And I did like the first one. And I mean, I like the concept. I like the idea that these little characters that are controlling each emotion of this teenage girl or this little girl in the first one. So it's kind of nice to see, you know, when Pixar just comes up with all these original stories or great stories about things that could appeal again to kids and adults. So that's kind of how I see Pixar. That's I never, or at least I haven't seen Pixar as it's only a strictly kids animation studio. It could apply to all, and there's much that they can do with this idea of Inside Out, because you know there's certain emotions that you get when you're older, when you're a teenager, when you're an adult. There's different things that you worry about, certain things that you have to deal with that you didn't have to deal with when you were a child, and then maybe some other emotions or things that you have to deal with when you're even older. So I think there's much that they can do with this, and I thought it was done very, very well here, and I enjoyed it. It's funny. It's just a nice watch, and that's why I put it on my top 10. I knew I was gonna watch this sequel, but even though I did like the first one, it wasn't like Toy Story or anything like that. But I thought I would watch it, but I didn't think I would have enjoyed it as much as I did. But yeah, so that's where we have this on my top 10 here, number 6. And then I think a lot of you guys already talked about this one. Go ahead.
I just remembered what the first one, the character I really loved, Bing Bong, played by Richard Kind.
Oh,
That, to me,
okay.
his fate was very sad.
Okay.
If you,
Let me see. Hold on a sec. Okay, it is the guy that I was thinking of. Okay, the little elephant guy. Okay. Yeah, so he was in the first one, yeah. Let's see here. Any other thoughts on this one before we move on to, I think, Adam's number 5? Okay, so this is Adam's number 5, and it's also Civil War here in the top 10. Yep. So take it away, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about it when I think this was on your list as well. So,
right.
Other than that, harrowing, story of I thought it was in a coming out in an election year. I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is going to get political. It's red or blue state," and it didn't specify. It wasn't about red or blue state. And I think the director was very careful not to get into that. It wasn't about the politics of it, but what would happen if there was a civil war in the modern era. Mm-hmm. I thought it was an excellent film.
Yeah, for sure. Again, made it on my top 10 as well.
And I tell you who had a good year is her name Kaylee Spaney? She followed them around. She was the
girl that was trying to help
younger journalist, and she was also an alien Romulus.
That's right.
Same actress.
Right. Yeah, so that's the one that I thought you were referring to earlier. Yeah, so her. There's 2 big movies here. I would argue, in 2024. Let's move on to Matthew's number 5, which is Fall Guy, right?
Yes.
The Fall Guy. Take it, Matthew.
This movie is severely underrated. It wasn't marketed much. I only ever saw anything about it in the theater. But this was just another action movie that I really enjoyed. I liked how they incorporated the fact that they were making a movie, especially that third act with all the moviness, I guess, to not spoil anything. But I always enjoy Ryan Gosling. And I just thought it was a really fun time at the theater.
I thought it was okay. A little spoiler, I guess, for my list. It didn't make it. So, but I know that you actually liked it quite a bit, Matthew, and I think you were excited to watch it. Wasn't it also one of your most anticipated movies of 2024? Like when we did our list last year.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, and I actually thought this movie would have done better box office wise because of the hype of the whole Barbie, Ryan Gosling playing Ken and all the other stuff. So I thought it would do better than it actually did financially. And I thought it was okay. It was just like a typical, action rom-com, whatever, it was fine. But Matthew seemed to have enjoyed it quite a bit. And Adam, I don't know if you've seen this.
No, I remember the TV show, and I just haven't been enthusiastic to see it. Maybe it was the marketing, and I've heard that a lot of people share Matthew's opinion, who have seen it. That I think they shared both your opinions, that it's a typical action rom-com, but the people but we liked it anyway,
And I get it.
Know.
I get that too. Yeah. Sometimes you just want a specific type of entertainment. So, I mean, I kind of get that. But for me, I thought it was fine. I didn't hate it or anything.
It's like McDonald's French fries. I know they're bad for me, but sometimes you got to taste some McDonald's French fries.
That's right. Nice analogy there, Adam. So, all right, let's move on to my number 5, and it is Smile 2, the sequel, obviously, to the first Smile movie. I watched the first one, and I thought it was solid. It was fine. I didn't think it was great, but it was fine. Now, the story or the concept is very similar to another movie called It Follows. So in that sense, it was like, I think I've seen this, but whatever. I'll watch Smile, and like I said, it was fine. And then they announced a sequel, which is related to like a pop star artist, like a very big famous pop artist, who is the infected one, quote unquote, the infected one. And actually, this movie was very surprisingly good, because it's not just a horror movie. We get the stuff that we like in horror, all these horror fans. We get the gore, we get the like body horror, I guess you can say. Very bloody, very horror-esque for sure. But there's actually a story here with the characters. Actually talks about trauma. The performances were great. The lead here, which of course I'm forgetting because this happens when I'm in a live stream, Naomi Scott. She was Jasmine in Aladdin in the live action version, and she did a great performance here. She did a great job in this that actually sold it even more. So this is by far those very few examples, especially when it comes to a horror movie, that the sequel is much better than the first one by far. So if you're a big horror fan, maybe you already saw this, I would definitely recommend you watch this movie here. So it's my number 5 spot. And I don't believe either of you have seen this, but maybe you've seen the trailers, or maybe you saw the first one.
Yeah.
My wife saw the first one. She really liked the first one.
Yeah, if she liked the first one, I think she will definitely love this new one. It's much better. There's more. It goes more into in depth to the character. It's a lot more. It's more. What's the word I'm looking for? It's juicier, for lack of a better word. But there you go. And then X-Man says, "Damn, now I want some McDonald's fries." So there. And Jose says,
man.
Naomi Scott. Let's see. I guess you got it. She's amazing in this, says Jose. So he agrees with that as well. So that was Smile 2. Let's go on to the next one, which is Mr. Adams' number 4. And this is Late Night with the Devil. Take it away, Adam.
Yeah, this is I first heard about this because it stars David. I can never pronounce his last name right. Dakmalian.
I always have trouble with his last name as well.
Well, he's he was in the first two
Ant-Man
Ant-Man movies. He's in the Dark Knight. He's a character actor. He was in Oppenheimer. He's been in so many movies, genre films, and he's a fellow geek like us. And I first heard he's friends with Kevin Smith, and I first heard about this film. He was on Kevin Smith's Fat Man Beyond podcast with Mark Bernardin, and they were talking about this a while back. He plays. David Dakmalian plays a late night TV talk show host in the mid to late 70s. And he's like number 3 in the ratings behind Johnny Carson and like Dick Cavett or what have you. And he's trying, he recently loses his wife within the last year, and he's trying to do something to boost his ratings. So he decides, let's have someone on who says they're possessed by the devil or a demon, and let's make contact. And man, it just goes bat you know what after that. It's really worth checking out. It's really creepy. It's kind of like the found footage type approach, a little novel approach to it. I really enjoyed it. Highly recommend it. And as a fan of like some of the old like talk shows from the like '80s and stuff. Like I used to, some of my fondest memories are being allowed to stay up and watch Johnny Carson, or my parents used to watch like Merv Griffin and Dick Cavett. To me, like that was a real interesting approach to take to this genre, something new. So Late Night with the Devil, really worth checking. I think I saw it on I don't know, I signed up for like a month or something for free, and I canceled for 10 days, and I canceled it like on Shudder or one of those.
It's a Shudder
networks. You
movie,
can watch
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised, Adam, that this was on your top 10, and especially so high in your top 10 list. Because to me, this is like a horror movie, right? So it's kind of like a horror movie.
Oh, I like horror. I don't like slasher films. I like if there's like a good story, and to me, if I, what I consider something new and innovative, and like another horror film I saw, I think it's this year, but it may have come out last year. I can't think of the name of it, but it's the one where it was filmed in either New Zealand or Australia, and where they have like that hand where they're talking to it. What's
Talk to Me.
Oh my gosh,
that was last year. Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, well, that was in my top 10 last year. That was a fantastic film.
Yeah, so this one I enjoyed a lot actually too. So maybe it's in my top 10, but I did like this movie actually quite a bit. And it is one of those Shudder movies. It had a theatrical release, and then it was dropped into the Shudder streaming service there. Matthew, you didn't go with us to see this, right?
No.
Yeah, so you haven't seen this one here, but yeah, it's a good movie for sure. So if you like anything related to horror, things like that, definitely check this one out for sure. Matthew's number 4, which was actually surprising to me, is Wicked. So there you go, Matthew.
So I do tend to like musicals. One of my favorite movies is West Side Story.
I'm starting to notice that, yes.
And this movie, I mean, when going in, I wasn't really like, it was just a movie, but I actually like thoroughly enjoyed it. I think every song from this movie is memorable, at least to me. I think this movie also started to turn me around on Ariana Grande. I've been an avid hater since she licked that donut in like 2016 or something.
Wow.
But
Okay.
I think this movie actually, like, it. She was one of the highlights, like her acting in this movie, especially towards the end. Also Cynthia, she was definitely the highlight. I think Charlize get a nomination.
Yeah.
But I think the first act was amazing, and the third act was even more amazing. I think it did drag a little in the middle, but I just
yes,
it was just an amazing experience. I'm hoping to see it again soon for a third time, but that's my number 4.
Oh, you saw it twice? Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
So Matthew, do you want to go to those sing-along screenings that they started this week?
No.
Okay, I don't know about that, right? Yeah, I do think Cynthia Erivo, last name Erivo.
Cynthia Erivo.
Cynthia
Erivo.
Erivo.
There you go. I think she'll get nominated for this for playing Elphaba, I believe. Elphaba is her name. And I actually do think Ariana Grande has a good chance of also getting a supporting nomination.
Yes.
I mean, we'll see if that happens, but I am not a huge fan of musicals. Sometimes I'm okay with them, like La La Land. I thought that was good. West Side Story, I liked that. This one was fine. I think I gave it like a B- or something like that. I still recommended it because I think it's still overall not bad. I did think it was a little too long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the music, I like maybe 1 or 2 songs of like 1,000 that are in this movie. but yeah, not bad though, not bad. And then Feel the Burn is I know he loved this movie for sure. He says I hear the soundtrack, or I wear the soundtrack out. He says, Dave says, Ariana Grande, I always thought her act was a little annoying, but also, yeah. So, and then Alice says, Matthew, go watch Wicked with me. There you go, Matthew.
Sure.
So you have someone you can go with there, because I'm not gonna watch it again. But Feel the Burn says they're both getting all the awards. He says, I've also been wearing the soundtrack out, says Alice. So there you go there. Brick says, I really love seeing this in London. Worried about the movie, but I'll probably see it on New Year's. Yeah, I'm hearing that just overall, I think even people who enjoyed the musical, the stage musical version, I believe they seem to really enjoy this as well. Adam, I don't think you've seen this, but are you planning on watching this?
I saw the musical with my wife and daughter, and they love the musical. They've seen it a few times. We actually looked. I thought it was available to buy or rent last night. I went on Apple, but it's just pre-order. So when it comes out available, I'm probably going to buy it for my wife and daughter. I'm sure I'll watch it then. I enjoyed it when I saw it in the Broadway musical. I'm not really much other than Hamilton. I'm not much of a musical person. I do like Cynthia Erivo. I liked her in Harriet, and she was also in a show that's really worth checking out. A limited series on HBO called The Outsider. I think it's based on either Stephen King or Stephen King's son wrote it, with Jason Bateman and Ben Mendelsohn. Really creepy, really good series. Called The Outsider.
All right, I don't think I've heard of that actually, but
it's didn't get a lot of attention, but it's worth checking out.
Alice says Wicked is at the Pantages right now. Riso is ugly though. I'm sure that's what's happening with it. Especially right now. They decided to have the show right now during the theatrical movie run. Brick says Phantom of the Opera is GOAT. I think I did watch at least the movie version, the one with what's his name, Butler. What's that guy actor's name?
Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler. There you go. I think he played the Phantom guy or whatever. But I didn't like that one. But I know a lot of people really like it. Saw that in London too, and I cried. Oh, you're talking about the actual stage, the musical. Okay, yeah. Maybe I would like the musical, the stage version. Who knows? But there you go. Let's see. So that's Wicked. That's Matthew's number 4, and my number 4 is Terrifier 3. And if you're not a fan of horror, if you didn't like any of the Terrifier movies, if you don't like Art the Clown, you don't like anything gory or anything like that, then of course you're not gonna like this, right? I actually enjoy this quite a bit. The story is a little thin. I will acknowledge that, although it is more to it in this one than all the other 2 films. Because Terrifier 2 does kind of go into a little bit of lore going on there, a little bit of mythology, just a little bit. And this one expands on it just a little more. And as a horror fan, this was a perfect horror movie. It's set during Christmas, which I like. I like the character. I got to meet the top 3 cast members in person, all very nice people, and I really enjoyed this. And I can't really, argue why you think anyone else would love it unless you like what I mentioned earlier. But I completely understand that you would not be interested in this, just in general. Jose says, and Emmy Rossum? I'm pronouncing that right? Rossum?
Emmy Rossum.
And Brick says, this is a series where every movie gets better than the last, says Mr. Brick Artemis there. So yeah, so that was Terrifier 3. Now, Matthew, I know you've seen the Terrifier movies, but
yes. What
are your quick thoughts on this one here?
I just don't think it lived up to the second one. I like these movies because it's like I find them funny, just how like absurd the kills are. But I feel like this one definitely was lacking in that aspect, and also the story was not it for me. Like I was just like thoroughly upset at the end of this movie with how absurd it went. And
I know.
I just hope Terrifier 4 goes in a better direction.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I know you told me that you were a bit disappointed with it, but yeah. My cousin Ivan said, "Gotta go," but I really appreciated the non-spoiler top 10 from everyone. I'm looking forward to seeing where Gio puts Chris Stuckman's Shelby Oaks on his top 10 next year. Yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll see how his movie is. I'm very curious to see how that movie is going to turn out. But thank you, Ivan, for dropping by. Much appreciated there. Then Alice is saying, I've been more curious about horror, but I refuse to watch any of the Terrifier movies. So, yeah, I don't think you would like that, Alice. You would not like that at all. I know that for sure. Adam, I know you haven't seen this, but does that, even for a little bit, does that kind of want you to watch one of them at one point? Or
Yeah, no, that's not. With all due respect, not my cup of tea.
that's kind of what I thought. Yes, yeah, I don't. You would not like this, Adam, just based on what I know of you. You know what you like and stuff. Definitely not. Feel the burn, Sir Robert here says, I'm loving the myths in this. So yeah, we have another fan here. Then we have Brick says, oh yeah, I have to see Nosferatu as well. I did watch Nosferatu on Christmas Day. Maybe it's on my top 10.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Alice says, I watched The Substance and thought it was great. So
We wanted to watch that last night. It's not available to rent yet on Apple, and you have to join Peacock to watch it free. And I'm not paying $10 to join Peacock because that service sucks.
okay.
So it's available to rent in like 10 days on Apple. So I'm gonna wait till that.
And that's The Substance, right? The Substance.
Yeah, that really looks
Okay.
good. I really want to see that.
Alice says, I was stressed the whole time. I think there's just, yeah, there you go. The whole time. That's for The Substance. So that was it for my number 4. So let's get into Adam's number 3. And this is the Penguin HBO Max series. Take it away, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, I go back and forth. You know, this actually could be the best thing I've seen all year, but it's definitely one of the best things I've seen all year. This is a show that I had such low expectations on, that I heard they're making a show about the Penguin, you know, with Colin Farrell from the Batman. And when I admit I saw the Batman 2022 when it came out, I thought it was good. I guess I was still wrapped up in the Nolan trilogy, and why can't we have more of that? I want more Nolan trilogy, and I didn't really give it as fair a shake as I should have. Even though everything about it I thought was technically, excellent. I thought maybe a little bit too long. Maybe the movie was a little bit too long when I first saw it. What I thought, but after binging on the Penguin, this was a phenomenal series, and it really expanded on the Matt Reeves universe. Just incredible, and made me go back and rewatch the 2022 The Batman and appreciate that even more. And what a great film that was. And really, I mean, something that makes me go back and look at the previous thing and improves upon it. I think it says something. Just from start to finish, the expectations, and I'm not going to give any spoilers, but Colin Farrell, obviously unrecognizable with that makeup. He just tour de force performance. Kristen Milotti, oh my goodness. Her role, her acting, just incredible. And then the actor who plays Vic, who kind of becomes his the Penguin's assistant. Great actor, great acting. I don't remember the actor's name. First time I've seen him before, but he was fantastic. Everyone, Penguin's mother. I mean, I really hope when it comes to Emmys or Golden Globes that this show deserves to clean up. Without question, the best TV show this year. Without question, nothing's even close to the Penguin, and might be the best thing I've seen this year. I know I have a couple of other things up there, but this really fantastic. I can't wait to see what happens next. I'm a little concerned when I see that the Batman 2 is now being delayed till another year.
2027.
I mean, how long does it take to get a script done? I think this is something, my suspicion, there's some conflict between internally with DC and Marvel over whether Pattinson should be the DC universe Batman and Matt Reeves kind of wants it separate, but that's another story. Can't recommend this highly enough. The
Batman 2 is coming out on my birthday, 2027, assuming they don't push it yet again.
I'll be 22,
which they might. But this series, I was thinking about other shows, as I know you were talking about this, and I think it actually might be the best show of the year. I'm trying to think of others that I enjoyed, but granted, I haven't seen as many TV series as I did films, right? Movies. But yeah, I would say it probably is the best show of 2024, as Feel the Burn is saying here, and then obviously you, Adam, as well, and then Matthew, you haven't. Did you catch The Penguin yet? I know you. Last time I talked to you, said you hadn't seen it.
I've been meaning to, but I just keep pushing it.
Yeah, Brick says, yeah, Penguin and Creature Commandos are up there. Yeah, I started watching Creature Commandos. I'm not up to date for the most recent episode, but I am enjoying it so far. It's pretty cool. I kind of like it. Let's see. Brick says, I think they want to see how the Superman and Clayface movies go to see if the Batman should be related. And then Feel the Burn says the writer's strike messed everything up. Yeah, so it definitely did push a lot of stuff going on there for sure. Brick says, if Superman fails, Batman will be its own thing. If these movies are hits, they might use Pattinson as the Batman. Now I know Matt Reeves. I know Matt Reeves is producing. He's one of the producers. I don't know if he's the only producer or one of the producers of the Clayface film. So I know there's some speculation that it might be connected to the Batman series, but that I've heard that it's part of the DC, the James Gunn DC universe. But it might be somewhat connected to the Pattinson situation there. Let's see. So that's The Penguin, and yes, I did really enjoy this show as well. Okay, so moving on to Matthew's number 3, which is Deadpool and Wolverine. So take it away, Matthew.
So this movie, I definitely enjoyed it. I definitely liked it more towards release. It did drop just one spot, but this movie, I did enjoy it a lot at the time. I saw it 3 times. I think Hugh Jackman's performance was great. Ryan Reynolds was great. I just think it loses me a little bit towards like the usual Marvel CGI fight towards the end. I didn't think it was all that epic, but I enjoyed all the cameos. It was just a really great movie. Especially with Marvel's recent slates, I think this is a good return to form for them.
Yeah, for sure. I really enjoyed this movie as well. And let me see here. I'm just gonna leave it like that for now. So I won't take your take yet, Adam, or myself, right? Because we got the Wolverine. But yeah, so Matthew, number 3, and I guess I'm not surprised that they made it to your top 3, right? You're number 2 a little bit, but your top 3, but that's perfectly fine. So I'm gonna move on to my number 3, and this is The Substance, starring Demi Moore. And this is one of those movies, again, kind of like Problemista, that it was kind of like came out of nowhere. And I saw the trailer and I was, kind of interested in watching it, but I wasn't sure what this movie was going to be about. But then I watched it and I loved this movie. It's there's a lot of like crazy shit that's happening in this movie. I like seeing Demi Moore. Again, I haven't seen her in anything in a long time.
Yeah.
I know there was a situation with Bruce Willis, that he can't act anymore because of the medical situation that he has. And then all of a sudden we see Demi Moore in films. So I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. And I do think Demi Moore will get an Oscar nomination for this, and the other actress, what is her name? Margaret's
Quali.
Qualley. There you go, Margaret Qualley. I think she'll might get a nomination as well. She was really good in this as well. So it's you might have seen the trailer. You know, the substance is like a little substance thing that's kind of like makes the actress or the person kind of like transform into a younger version of themselves for a certain amount of time, and you kind of have to follow the instructions. And if you don't, it kind of like starts messing things up. Because the character that Demi Moore is playing is like this fading celebrity, TV celebrity, and she kind of wants to, you know, be remain what her position is, but she needs to be younger looking. I believe that's what she was thinking. So it just kind of talks about, you know, your, you know, beauty and what you see yourself as and things like that. But it really turns into some crazy shit in this movie, especially if you're like a horror fan. If you're a horror fan, even though I don't really consider this movie a horror, but there's a lot of horror elements in there, and it's just a lot of fun, and it made it to my top 3. And then Matthew, I don't think you've seen this, right? Or
No, I haven't.
I'm
any
very
thoughts there?
excited to see this one because I mean Demi Moore. I remember growing up, she was like the sex symbol or one of the sex symbols of like late 80s, early 90s. With I remember she like About Last Night and Indecent Proposal, Striptease. You know, so it's the other interesting is Margaret Qualley is Andy McDowell's daughter, and you know, they're actress who's in some of those Brat Pack era films, so I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So we have Brick saying Substance was good. I really hope I'm not like overhyping it. Now it's at number 3, but still, yeah. I just really like this. I haven't purchased it yet. It's one of those movies that I don't really purchase that many movies anymore, especially when it comes to like physical media. I did buy Terrifier 3, a 4K. This is one that I'm going to buy because I thought it was really that good. And again, very low expectations. Maybe that has something to do with it, but I really enjoyed this one here. Let's see. Alice is saying, Gio, they're playing The Substance at the Frida next month. If you want to go with me. And then she says, okay, Matthew, we have another movie date then. So yeah,
Yes.
there he goes. Yeah, next month. So maybe we can go on January 27th. On that day, we'll go and watch that movie there.
Margaret Qualley, if you haven't seen it, she's in a really good film a couple years ago called Made. I remember seeing it on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, I've seen
just
that.
a small, you know, low budget film. Actually, Andy McDowell's in it. She plays her mother, and it's, if you haven't seen it, it's really worth checking out.
Oh yeah, I remember watching that. It was pretty good from what I remember. Let's see. A few other brothers says really need to see this. Yeah, Robert, I think you will. I think you will like this because you're just in general you're like a horror fan. Like I said, this is not a official horror movie, but if you like the other stuff, I think you will like this. So definitely check that out as soon as you can. And Brick says, can you get nominated twice in the same category? I could see Chalamet get an Oscar for either Bob Dylan or Dune 2. That would be a leading role, and he wouldn't be able to be nominated for the same category. It would have to be a leading and then a supporting. So if they're looking if they're looking to nominate him this year, it'll probably be without even seeing the movie, it'll probably be the what's it called? The Bob Dylan one, Complete Unknown.
Yeah.
Let's see. The other one said, reminds me of Death Becomes Her a little. Kind of, yes. Yeah, that's a good. A little bit crazier. Well, a lot more crazier actually. But yeah, kind of. Brick Artemis says, Substance is top 10 for sure. There's some stuff that will stay with you for a long time. And there's a figure that I would like from that movie. If you know, you know. And the third act of this movie. So they would never make it. But let's see. Alice says, the end of The Substance made me so sad. I was actually laughing my ass off at the third act of this movie. So again, if you know, you know. All right, so that was my number 3. Yeah, so I had a lot of fun just talking about this movie. Damn, maybe I should move it up more. Here we go. Adam's number 2, and that's why I kind of didn't want any of us to really talk about Matthew's number 3. But Adam, there you go.
Yeah, this was. I've seen a lot of stuff this year. I've actually only been to the movies twice, which is pretty low for me this year. And the first time was to see the re-release of Phantom Menace, and then the second time was to see Deadpool and Wolverine. And I hadn't had so much fun seeing a movie in a long time. Very memorable cinematic experience. I've seen it, several times since. And I think I bought it on Apple. I mean, I know it's on Disney Plus, but I bought it.
Right.
And this is, I was a fan of the first 2 Deadpools, and of course a fan of Hugh Jackman's work as Logan Wolverine in anytime he appeared in that, even if I didn't like as much that X-Men movie, just loved him in that role. I think, as Matthew said, this got, hopefully he's gotten Marvel back on track. We'll see in a month and a half or so when Captain America comes out, if they, fingers crossed. But nonetheless, I think this was a great combination of the Marvel MCU action comedy, and really it was almost like Beverly Hills Cop and American Pie, raunchy humor. Rolled into Little Bill and Ted's and an X-Men movie, and you got Deadpool and Wolverine. It was, I hadn't laughed so much in a movie in a long time, and but it had a lot of heart, I thought, and a great acknowledgement of some of the characters that maybe didn't have the best material or weren't as appreciated as enough as they should have been. I'm talking about like the Elektra or Blade or Gambit that was never made. So there was like some nods to the past in the Fox films, and I think kind of a good way to start blending in the X-Men characters and the mutants into the MCU. So just a terrific. Is it the best MCU film I've seen? No, but just a hell of a lot of fun. And it's a film that you just think of some of the sequences that stick in your mind. I mean, obviously, combining the action and music. I'll never hear NSYNC's "Bye Bye Bye" the same ever again. I'll never hear "Like a Prayer" the same again.
Right. Yeah.
Or the ones from Grease. The one that I want when they're in the car. And they even had a little nod if you picked up to one of the songs from The Greatest Showman. That Hugh Jackman's in. So I just I loved everything about this film. Just so enjoyable.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a good idea for Disney, if they were going to, or Marvel Studios, Disney, whatever, if they were to only release one movie in any year, this was definitely a good choice to pick this one, because they needed this. They definitely needed this movie here. Let's move on to Matthew's number 2, which I was a little surprised. But we have Sonic the Hedgehog 3. That's Matthew's number 2. Take it, Matthew.
So I've never been a big Sonic fan. I mean, I like Sonic, of course, but I was definitely more of a Mario guy. When it comes to the Sonic films, I always enjoyed them. It was something I look forward to every 2 years, but like they would make my top 10, but like maybe like 9 or 8. But this movie thoroughly just it completely got me on board with Sonic, and I've been on a bit of a Sonic frenzy as of lately. And just the heart in this movie, I think whatever his name is, I forgot his name, as Sonic is just perfect casting. I honestly wasn't on board with Keanu as Shadow, as Gio probably knows.
Yeah.
I think he thrives in silent roles, and for him to literally just be a voice, I was a little hesitant, but he definitely won me over. I think Shadow was definitely the highlight of this movie. The third act of this movie was like just incredible. Like it was like one of the best things I've ever seen. The movie also looked amazing, especially in the first and third act with Shadow on the bike. That whole like segment was just like incredible.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And yeah, I'm definitely gonna rewatch this. I'll probably buy it. Just like it was just like, incredible. It was amazing.
Yeah, and I think the actor's name is Schwartz, Ben Schwartz.
Oh, Ben
which
Schwartz,
is Sonic. Yeah. And Matthew, were you wanting Hayden Christensen to voice Shadow? Is that what you're?
Yeah, I definitely felt like that would have been cool. I mean, that was the rumor for a while.
Yeah, well, so then it was like, no, it's Keanu Reeves. So I was like, okay, I'm good with either. But yeah, so I mean, I grew up with Sonic, you know, the game, Sega. I had a Sega Genesis, so I've, of course, I loved the game. The movies, I thought they were okay. You know, they were fine. This one was fine too. You know, it is what it is. You know, it's just a little Sonic kid movie. You know, so it was fine. You know, I didn't hate it. You know, there's some really other movies that are really targeted for kids that are not good, and they're really just more for kids.
Yeah.
But this one actually think was kind of targeting, you know, some of the millennials like myself who grew up with the game and stuff like that. But then of course we have Jim Carrey, so you know, like Jim Carrey. So overall, fun movie. Obviously, it's not going to make it to my number one, right? I don't think it's much of a spoiler that it's not going to be my number two or my number one. But Adam, I'm pretty sure you haven't seen this, or maybe you haven't seen
I haven't
any
seen the
of
first
them.
two either.
But yeah, so let's let me read this real quick. Alice says that I have no hearts, apparently, and that's probably because I enjoyed, or I was laughing at the third act in The Substance. So there you go. All right, so my number two is Deadpool and Wolverine, right? Just like Adam, and just like the things that Adam said, you know, this movie was needed for the MCU. You know, a lot of the movies in the last few years have not been great. So of course we needed this. They're trying to really create much more hype for their new big Avengers movies, right? And so far of all the movies that have been coming out, you know, phase 4 and 5 or whatever, they haven't really been like that exciting to really gather the fans out there, or just a general audience for a new Avengers movie. Like, what the hell are we going to see in an Avengers movie? They had the Kang situation, right? Which I don't think it was that great. You know, a lot of people argue that, you know, Kang got defeated by Ant-Man or Ant, and is like, how is he going to be like the Avengers threat? I mean, of course we know that he has all these variants or whatever, so that makes sense, I guess. But they really needed something else here. Deadpool and Wolverine, we have Hugh Jackman coming here to the role, and then we finally see him wear the yellow and blue outfits, which I think a lot of fans wanted to see, and it worked very, very well. Very funny movie. The cameos, like I think Matthew mentioned, were also fun and everything. So it's just the movie that we needed for the summer, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. I did watch it a couple of times. I do plan on watching it again. So top 3, number 2 on my list is Deadpool and Wolverine. And I think a lot of you guys already talked about this movie here, and we're gonna go into the number 1 spot. But before we do that, let me just show this real quick, because I usually forget to do this, especially on the Met Report. I'll do this right now.
Action! Oh, you're there.
If you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Like and subscribe to The Movie Canon.
What up, baby? It's Reverzio, and you're watching The Movie Canon. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Hey friends, it's 1Adam12 here. Don't forget to subscribe to my friend, The Movie Canon, for all your movie, entertainment, horror, and 1/6 action figure talk. Thank you.
Guys, if you aren't already subscribed to the Movie Canon, make sure that you do so because you are totally missing out. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit the like, and hit the notification bell so you know the next time.
What's going on, everybody? Flavio here from the House of Collectibles, and you guys are watching the Movie Canon. Don't forget to grab your popcorn. Don't forget to grab your drinks. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.
All right, so thank you guys who participated in this little collaboration there. To remind me to ask the live chats, you guys to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, to help the channel grow. We really do appreciate that. So if you haven't done so already, hit the like button. And thank you so much, guys, who participated in this. Adam, you're on the panel right now. Thanks so much for doing the collaboration there. And then Brick, Flavio, Dan, Reverse Zio, all you guys, thank you so very much. The link of, or the description of the members who participated in this is in the description of the video, so definitely check their channels out there. Okay, so let's move on to the last one, the number one spots for Adam, Matthew, and myself. We're starting with Adam, and this is a movie that came out last year, but take it away there, Adam.
Yeah, I know. It came out the very end of 2024, I believe, and I think I'm not sure if it was a wide release. It came out and may have initially come out in Los Angeles and New York, maybe a few select cities. But if you don't live in those select cities, you may not have been able to see it in that last week of December. I saw this when he was on. I think it came on HBO Max, March or April, and I've seen Godzilla movies since I was a little boy. I remember seeing I collected the Marvel Comics Godzilla, and I had the Shogun Warriors big, like, huge Godzilla toy from the late 70s. So I've been a fan of Godzilla and the Godzilla movies since as long as I can imagine, or as long as I can remember, excuse me. And and all sorts of Godzilla movies. And I liked a lot of them. There's some that I did not care for, but I don't think I've ever seen a Godzilla movie that I thought was done in such a realistic way, was so scary, and so heartbreaking, and most importantly, that I cared about the human characters more than I cared about Godzilla, because most Godzilla movies I've seen, I'm like, just get the humans out of the way and get to the the World Wrestling Entertainment, kaiju's fighting each other, and that's nothing wrong with that. I want, that's what we're there for a lot of times. But this movie, you really cared about the lead characters and their fates, and the supporting characters and their fates, and you felt the terror that people were experiencing when Godzilla attacked, first the island that the lead character was on at the tail end of World War II, and then in Japan when Godzilla struck. I just thought it was extraordinary film. I think it did win best foreign language film last year?
Visual effects.
Yeah. Oh, the best foreign language film was the one about the Nazis who were living indifferently to the Auschwitz, I think, right?
I believe so. Yes.
I can't think of the name of that movie.
Zone of Interest. You're talking about the Zone of Interest.
Zone of Interest. I saw Zone of Interest, and well done. This was a better film. This should have won. This was Brick Artemis is right. This is an incredible film. I think they're making a sequel in this universe, and I can't wait to see it. I do like the MonsterVerse stuff by and large of what they've done recently. some of the films have been better than other. They're kind of silly, some of them, and entertaining. But this film, Godzilla -1, was A level to me. A level or S tier, actually.
Oh, S tier.
Sure.
There you go.
S tier.
Yeah, so this movie came out last year. So it is a 2023 movie, but it came out wide on the first week of December. But Japan, the Oscars, they submitted a different. They didn't submit Godzilla -1, so it didn't get considered for best international. But yeah, 23 film here. But I really enjoyed this movie too. On my list.
Hey, Gio, you're kind of breaking up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I don't know what you guys might have missed, but yeah. So again, this is a 2023 movie here, but let's go here to this comment here. Brick says this was 2024. Yeah, this is number 1 for me too. Then Dune 2, then Apes. This movie was Jaws on steroids.
Totally agree.
And Fio the Burn says never watched Godzilla or one Godzilla movie except the Matthew Broderick film in the 90s. Yeah,
dude. If the Matthew Broderick Godzilla film of the 90s is the only Godzilla movie that you've been watching, that's like saying the only Star Wars movie you ever watched was Rise of Skywalker. Come on, or The Acolyte.
How sad.
There's a lot of other brilliant Godzilla movies out there.
That is true,
entertaining Godzilla movies.
Then Feel the Burn. This one is worth watching, says Brick. So yeah, I would agree with that. I had Godzilla pajamas and bed sheets in the 90s. Oh, that's right. I remember that. Yeah, I totally remember that actually. Let's see. So that was Adam's number 1. So let's go ahead. And then Matthew, you haven't seen this, right? You still haven't seen it, right?
No, I haven't seen it. No.
Yeah, so he still hasn't seen this one. So this is Matthew's number 1, and it is Dune Part 2. Matthew?
Dune Part 2. Like I said earlier with Ariana Grande, I was also a Timothy Chalamet hater back in the day before Dune Part 1. But since then I've been completely sold on him. He's been in a lot of movies that I really liked, and I just think he's a really good actor of our era. But Dune Part 2, it does everything I liked in Dune Part 1, but better. My biggest issue with Dune Part 1 was that there wasn't that much action, but in this movie they ramp it up times 10. There's an action scene. There's like 10 action scenes in this whole movie, and it was just great, especially towards the end with what happens at the end. But I think the character arc of Paul Atreides is just generational, on par with people like Anakin Skywalker. It's just a great movie, and definitely rewatching it, buying it, whatever I need to do.
Yeah, so again, that's Dune Part 2. I'll just throw it to you real quick. Adam, your thoughts?
So I'm going to give a hot take here. I read Dune when I was in college for literature and science fiction, and I had a hard time getting through it. I just was kind of bored by it, and I thought Dune Part 1 and Part 2 were very well made. I'm a big fan of Denis Villeneuve. I can't pronounce his last name.
Villeneuve. I don't know. Villeneuve. A lot of people pronounce it differently.
So. Yeah, I love some of his other films. Again, this is extremely well made. The craftsmanship and the work into this. It's a serious film. I was kind of it's definitely a well-made film. It didn't really capture my heart, and I was kind of bored with both of them. I had a hard time getting through it. I fell asleep watching both films.
Okay.
So it just didn't grab me. But I appreciate, I appreciate the work and craftsmanship in it, and I understand why I can appreciate why people really love this. It just didn't, just some things don't grab you. This one didn't grab me.
Did you watch any of them in the theater? Just curious.
No, HBO.
Oh, okay. And were you a fan of Blade Runner 2049?
I kind of felt the same way. It's just, but to be honest, even the first Blade Runner, and I know like in the fantasy figure, I had Rick Deckard and Roy Batty in my as fantasy figures. It took me a few times to watch Blade Runner, and then I had to read the short story to figure out what the hell is going on in it. So it's you're having some broccoli and some veggies, and you gotta have some veggies in your salad. It's not just steak. So sometimes I don't like the veggies. I just like the steak.
Okay, all right.
That's like Star Wars. Star Wars is a lot of sizzle.
Right, right. Feel the Burn says, see, that's what I'm afraid of when I do see them both. Will my attention be fully into this? And Moose is saying, Dude 1 and 2 is basically a single film combined. You can't watch one without the other. Yeah, so it is based on the first book, which is that one book is covering both parts there, basically. All right, so that was Matthew's number 1. All right, so my number 1 is going to be controversial because you guys are going to give me a lot of shit. But my number 1 is Madam Web. Now, I think Dakota Johnson is underrated. Just kidding. It's Dune Part 2. So that's going to be my number 1. And
wait, is this the Razzies?
Right. So no, of course not. This is the film. I knew when I watched this, I was like, it's gonna be hard to beat. And Deadpool and Wolverine got very, very close. I really love this movie. It has everything that I would want in a film. Has great direction, great writing, great cinematography, great score, great everything basically. I completely understand what you mean though, Adam, that it's kind of like, I don't know if some people would say it's a slow burn. Mainly the first one. The first one is definitely slower paced than Dune Part 2. I do think Part 2 is better than the first one, but I was gifted the book. Matthew, didn't you gift me the Dune book?
I did, yes.
Yeah, so you gifted me the Dune book before the movies came out. It's was written by Frank Herbert, I believe, 1965 film, and I know George Lucas was influenced by not all of it, but parts of the Dune book. So I thoroughly enjoyed this movie here, and I wasn't sure if it will be good, to be honest with you. Like I said, I've read the book there, and I was like, I don't know if they're gonna really translate it well. I did watch part of the David Lynch movie, which is pretty bad. So that one's from the 80s, and I know they had plans to do a sequel, but after the reaction to that one, they didn't do anything with it. But I like the lore, I like the mythology of this, I like the action sequences. The CGI of this is amazing. If you watch this in the theater, it's absolutely beautiful. You get some really long shots of the desert, the dune stuff going on, and it's just a great looking film, and I did thoroughly enjoy it. Austin Butler in this film specifically is insanely good. I don't think he'll get a nomination because it's one of those genre movies. I don't know if they'll actually nominate acting performances in Dune. I'm sure this film will get a lot of technical nominations, probably Best Picture and things like that, probably. But I really did enjoy this here, and I'm super excited for that.
He was a good villain, for sure.
Paul Atreides figure. Yes, yeah, for sure. Very unrecognizable Austin Butler in this. We just saw him as Elvis, which Matthew liked. That was on his top 10, whatever that year that was, last year.
I like that movie too.
And so, yeah, I don't know what else to really say about Dune Part 2. I really talked about it a lot at the beginning of the year when I first saw it. And I know there's some collectors, specifically in our community. I think it's like maybe like a 50-50 that some people really didn't like it, didn't care for it, or they really really liked it. So that's kind of where we're at there. But yeah, it definitely made it to my number one spot here. X-Man Supremes, Dave says, I swear I saw Adam's eye twitch when Gio said Madam Web.
He was very convincing.
I'll try, Moose, he says, feel the bird. Yeah, so it's really hard because I'm not trying to like oversell it here, because like Matthew, I wasn't sure Matthew would even care for this movie, to be honest with you. Like when we first saw the first Dune movie, and there's some people that I know that I wouldn't think they would care for this franchise or these movies, and they actually really liked it. So I don't know. What are you gonna say, Adam?
I think you said about the community being kind of 50-50, and yeah, I think that might be true. I think, but what I think is clear is if you say like I wasn't really, like I said, I thought it was very well made. I can't give it poor rankings because it was incredibly well done. It just didn't capture my heart.
Okay,
and I didn't enjoy it so much. But it's not like, to me, this isn't like Rise of Skywalker or
right.
I keep crapping on the Acolyte because it was the worst thing I've seen all year. And you can't. I know there's like people out there who like the Acolyte. I don't know what they're thinking, but I can't. You can't crap on this movie, Dune or Dune Part 2, because it was so well done. You may say it's not for you, not your cup of tea. Okay, I think that's fair. That's how I feel. But you can't, I think, be taken seriously if you just crap on this movie, because it's excellently produced, well-made film. It's not a craptacular.
No,
like Madam Web.
Right, my number one. So what I'm kind of trying to say is, because I've noticed these scenarios, these situations where a movie is released, it's produced and released, and you could recognize and acknowledge a film is quote unquote well made. Everything, all the boxes are marked as far as or checked, I should say, when it comes to, yes, the cinematography is great, the direction, the score, all the technical stuff is top notch. And the story, the overall movie maybe didn't really, like you said, Adam, didn't grab your heart or whatever. That's kind of how I am. This is like probably the biggest hot take. I think I've said it before, but in case you're hearing this for the first time, that's kind of my situation with Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings trilogy, because I recognize that it's an amazing technical achievement, and I did like the movies, but those movies didn't really grab me in a way that I was like, oh, I want to collect figures, I want to everything Lord of the Rings. Like it wasn't like that for me, but I did overall like those, but it didn't grab me in that manner. That's probably your situation with Dune, I would think, but some would argue that it's not Lord of the Rings, but you know what I mean.
I'm like that with the two Avatar films. Like I saw them, when the next one comes out, I'll see the next one too, but they're not, to me, they're not James Cameron's finest hour. It
Definitely
just
not.
didn't, they're well done, and it's good, okay. Just didn't, to me, like Deadpool and Wolverine, that grabbed me from this year. But comparison, like Dune, Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, like, oh my god, that I could just talk for hours in those movies, and they just really, I have a whole freaking shelf dedicated to Hot Toys just from Avengers Endgame. So, and I'm sure if they came out the same number of figures for the Dune films, people would have that. So I appreciate that.
So like I said, it's one of those situations there. Let me see. Dave says, I hear great things about Dune, but the trailers and everything I've heard and seen about it just never got my attention. And yes, I completely understand that. Sometimes that's just the way it is. It just didn't grab your interest. It's not something that you see yourself enjoying based on maybe other movies that you've seen that look similar to it. And then, actually, let me go back here. Moose, I don't think I said hello to you when you dropped in, but if I didn't, sorry about that. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Moose. Really appreciate it there. Let's go back here to Dave. Also says, yeah, I thought Brightburn was pretty well made, but I'll never watch it again. And that's the one with the evil Superman, right? The one that I think James Gunn wrote. I think James Gunn wrote it. I actually did like that movie, actually. But, Moose says, listen, I've forgotten all the movies that came out this year. The one that I saw twice and had the most fun is Deadpool and Wolverine. Dune 2 was the best quality. And then Feel the Burn says, I watched all 3 extended versions of Lord of the Rings. I really enjoyed them. And yeah, like most people, you know, big fans of that. And like I said, I acknowledge they're great films. So they're not bad films at all. Not at all. It's just not one of those movies that I want to go, oh, let's go rewatch the Lord of the Rings extended cuts myself, personally. But X-Man says, I have no interest whatsoever in watching any more Avatar movies. I saw the first one. I feel like I get it. All right. So, and I would rather rewatch True Lies than Avatar. But I acknowledge, you know, the technical achievements, I guess, for Avatar. Moose says, I haven't seen Inside Out 2 beat Deadpool and Wolverine for the highest domestic gross. What the fuck? Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, Inside Out 2 is not an R-rated movie, so it does prevent certain people to buy a ticket. But yeah. Yes. So thanks so much, Mr.
Either way, Disney wins. They don't care.
Exactly, right? So it's like we're getting our money, so we're in the top, whatever, 2, 3, whatever it is. Let's see. X-Men, I fell asleep on the first Avatar. So more butts and seats because of all the families. Yeah, exactly. Right. So yeah, so that was my top 10 list, Matthew's top 10 list, and Mr. Adams' top 10 list. So I think that's pretty much it, guys. Let me see. Maybe I can just do a quick summary here. So your number 10 for Adam was The Wild Robot. So that was number 10 for Mr. Adam. And then Matthew's Twisters was number 10. My number 10 was Long Legs. Adam's number 9 was a series, right? Number Linus.
Yeah, Linus.
Linus. Plus. Matthew's number 9 was Mufasa film. My number 9 was Anora. Adam's number 8 was Industry, is it? Industry,
HBO Max.
And then number 8 for Matthew was Inside Out 2. My number 8 was Civil War. Adam's number 7 was House of the Dragon Season 2. Matthew's number 7 was Boy Kills World with Bill Skarsgård. Bill Skarsgård. My number 7 was Problemista. Adam's number 6 was what is this one called? Chimp
Crazy. HBO Max.
Chimp Crazy. Matthew's number 6 was A Quiet Place, Day 1. My number 6 was Inside Out 2. Adam's number 5 was Civil War. Matthew's number 5 was Fall Guy. My number 5 was Smile 2. Adam's number 4 was Late Night with the Devil. Matthew's number 4 was Wicked. My number 4 is Terrifier 3. Adam's number 3 was The Penguin TV series. Matthew's number 3, Deadpool and Wolverine. My number 3 was The Substance. Adam's number 2 was Deadpool and Wolverine. Matthew's number 2, Sonic 3. My number 2, Deadpool and Wolverine. Adam's number 1 is Godzilla -1. Matthew's number 1, Dune Part 2. And my number 1 was Dune Part 2. So that was the summary there of the top films series of the year 2024. There you go. Let's see. So, Mr. Adam, I'm going to go ahead and plug your channel like we always do here. So, what do you have going on?
You know, I just want to give a plug. If you're a Star Wars fan and you haven't checked out Skeleton Key, check it out. I was very skeptical of that show, and every episode it's building, and the last 2 episodes have been absolutely delightful, really entertaining, and Jude Law really brings something special to it. So I just hope they don't what the bed in this last 3 episodes. We'll see. But
Yeah.
well, again, thank you for having me on, and Matthew, good to see you again on here. Haven't been able to do much this week. Been down with with COVID, and we did some traveling before that. But my latest video on there is we did a unboxing of Bane, the new Bane 2.0, and I think it's some funny things in it, and we try to have some fun with it. This is probably my favorite unboxing that I've done so far, because we were just goofing around with it, and it's actually it's definitely a candidate for figure of the year, I think. Okay. I'm not saying it's my favorite figure, but it's I'm not saying, but it's definitely up there as a candidate.
All right. Well, Mr. Adam, thank you so much for joining. As always, appreciate your time, and
we'll see you tomorrow night.
I'm glad you were able to join us here today, even though you were, getting over COVID and all that stuff. But hope you get feel much better moving forward here. And yes, tomorrow Figures Talk. Hopefully you can join us for that as well there. All right, so then we have Matthew. Matthew, I'm going to display his YouTube channel, even though I don't think he's uploaded anything lately. But Matthew,
I have some Dead by Daylight videos up on my YouTube. I would like to upload again soon, maybe, potentially. I always say that, but yeah, my videos on there are pretty good quality, so I think if you would like to, you should watch them.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go. And then sometimes we'll see Matthew on here when he's available, but he works usually on weekends and stuff like that. But thank you, Matthew, again for joining me here on this top 10 list, which we've been doing annually for the last few years. So there you go there. Let's see. And for me, I have, let me remove this real quick. Okay, so for me, we have the Figure Stock tomorrow. So that's episode number 36. The last episode of 2024. So we have Mr. 112, X-Men Supreme, Yomo, and Reverse Zio, Mr. Carlos. So Yomo and Reverse Zio, they were on the debut video of Figure Stock episode number 1. Hold on a second here. So episode number 1 of Figure Stock included Reverse Zio and Yomo as my guests. So I asked them if they would be part of the last episode of Figure Stock in 2024. So they are joining us tomorrow. We're doing the last fantasy figure tier list. So part 5, that is the last one, is going to wrap everything up. And there was a lot of news, mainly releases. So there'll be a lot to talk about, and so I'm probably gonna have to cut some of them out because there's just so much that was released this week. But hopefully you guys can join us tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And everyone who watched in the live chats or who watched live, and then you've commented here, I greatly appreciate that as always. If you're watching on the replay, also thanks so much for that. So that's pretty much it for the Met Report. Episode number 56. Again, Adam, thank you so much. And Matthew for joining me here for this last episode of Met Report for the year. So happy New Year, everyone. Like I said, hopefully I see all of you guys tomorrow night on Figures Talk. If not, happy New Year 2025. And I'll see you guys next time.